What's going on, everybody? Trev Wilson here. Welcome back to the Bourbon Wrench. Today, we're going to be talking about rare and allocated bourbon. We're going to be giving some tips, pieces of advice to help maximize your chance at getting something rare and allocated this bourbon hunting season. Now, if you don't know, the end of the year, November, December, that's usually when a lot of these rare and allocated bourbons drop. So it's time to start gearing up, start doing a little hunting, and hopefully we can get you something rare. Now, when these stores get these rare bottles, okay, various things can happen from there. Not all stores are the same. They treat their allocation a little different from state to state, store to store. There's several different things that could happen to those allocated bottles once it gets to the store. They can either put it behind the shelf and mark it way up. They can set it aside to do in a raffle. They can keep it in the back of the store to kind of give to their most loyal customers. There's several different things that they can do. Once the store owner gets the bottle, unless you're in a control state, a state-controlled bourbon state, the owner can pretty much do whatever he wants with it. So we're gonna be covering several of these different scenarios, talking about some things you can implement to help you out. My first piece of advice, and we're just gonna get this out of the way real quick. Set realistic expectations. The chances of you getting something rare is very low. Chances are you might not get anything this bourbon hunting season, or maybe even next bourbon hunting season. People will go several years without getting, their most desired unicorn bottle. But the sooner you can grasp that, the sooner you can come to terms with, I might not get anything, the better. Why do I say that? Because it's easy to get discouraged when you're going to all of these stores, you're going to all of these raffles, you're spending all of this money, and you still come up empty-handed. And that's the thing. You should not be discouraged. You should not let that ruin your time, your fun. You just have to realize it's hard. It's not just you looking for this rare stuff. Everyone's looking for this stuff. Bill, he's looking for it. His wife is going in the store looking for it. Everyone's looking for this. So it's very difficult. The competition is everywhere. Also, you have to realize that all of these stores handle things different. Not every store is going to be the same. Not every store is going to get caseloads of Blanton's and BTAC. Your store might only get 1 or 2 rare bottles. So that means it's even harder for you to get something from them. Hunting bourbon is just like every other hunting sport. Whether you're fishing, every time you go fishing, you're not expecting to catch the biggest bass of your life. When you go hunting, you don't truly expect the biggest buck to walk out in front of you. It's the hunt that makes it fun. The chance of one day eventually getting that beauty. Don't get disappointed when you come up empty-handed. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be the thrill of searching for it and eventually coming across something. Also, you have to realize that not everything that is rare and allocated is the best tasting stuff ever. There are some bottles that you might win eventually and come to find out you don't really like it as much as half of the stuff that you already own. You have to know this going into it, okay? So that way when you eventually win something, oh, I know that's a unicorn bottle, and you just drop $150 on it, and then you open it up and it's, not that good. You gotta know this stuff going into it, okay? By all means, still hunt, still go for it, but don't let it distract you from all of the good stuff that you have available to you. Okay, so moving on, something else that stores can do. Around me, they will set aside a lot of their allocation that they get throughout the year, and then towards the end of the year, they'll do raffles periodically. Everyone shows up, you get a little raffle ticket, and once you're called, you get to go up there and pick a bottle that's on the table. So essentially, if you're called first, you have first dibs of whatever's up there. My advice is to definitely look into your area, what stores do things like that, and go to as many of them as you can. Again, there are going to be a lot of people at these events. It's not just you versus Bill. It's you versus Bill and his entire friggin' family that he brought there to help him win. Tons of people. It's absolutely ridiculous, and the number of bottles they have up there usually aren't that many. But what I'm saying is your chances are 0 if you don't go to them. If you are in a state-controlled, they do state lotteries, enter. Yes, you might be facing the entire state, but it's the entire state's allocation. So, you know, your chances are low, but at least you have an option. You have that chance to get something. Also, these lotteries can be fun. You will see several of the same people at every single raffle, every single lottery. You'll see them. They're gonna be at all of them, just like you will be. Get to know them, talk with them, become friends with them. That's part of it. You know, it shouldn't be you versus the world, okay? Become friends with them, and guess what? Chances are, if you become friends with them, you double your odds of getting to at least try something rare. I've met people at raffles. We've shared samples with each other, things that we've won from them. It can be really fun, so I definitely recommend going to these things, participating, talking with the people that are there. And again, it's probably one of the fairest ways to go about getting something rare and allocated. That way you don't have to rely on just someone's good nature, you know, it's you and luck, and that's it. If you get lucky that day, you get one. So I would definitely recommend going to them. Majority of the rare bottles that I have owned have come from the raffles. Again, it's not gonna be easy. There's gonna be a lot of taters there. There's gonna be a lot of true bourbon lovers there. There's gonna be a lot of flippers there. It's just a madhouse at these raffles, especially when you start throwing in things like Pappy. People come out of the woodworks. At least you have a sliver of a chance. All right, my next piece of advice is to become friends with your local liquor store. You always hear the thing, do you got anything in the back? A lot of these stores take their allocation, they'll put it in the back, kind of reserve it for maybe their most loyal customers, maybe their friends, maybe just to take for themselves. But sometimes they will allow you to purchase something that they kind of have stashed away in the back. My advice to you would to not just go store to store asking every person you come across, hey, you got anything in the back? I would definitely make a habit to frequent a lot of these stores. Go in there, say hello to the clerks, say hello to the manager, get to know the store owner. You don't have to force a friendship. Don't be creepy. Don't go up there and just be like, be my friggin' friend. But get to know them. Ensure that they know who you are. When you walk in, they need to be like, oh, there's the bourbon guy going down the bourbon aisle again. That way, when you do eventually go up and ask, hey, do you have anything in the back? It's not like you're some random guy coming in, hey, you got any Pappy? Well, yeah, we have Pappy. We've just been waiting for the first person to come and ask me to sell it to them. If they were gonna do that, they would just put it on the shelf. They are much more inclined to selling you things that they keep in the back if they know who the heck you are. If you walk up to them, you are a loyal customer, you buy bottles from them, you buy all of your essentials, they will say, this is a guy who comes in here often. He spends money here. He obviously is into bourbon. That just raises your odds, okay? It doesn't guarantee it. If it's you versus Karen who walked in saying, my husband's looking for Blanton's, do you have any? You know, it'll probably go to you before her. Another tip that goes along with that is you get to learn their shipments. Know when they get their bourbon shipment. Now again, not all stores necessarily get a caseload of something allocated and just go throw it on the shelves. I would say some of them do. They definitely, I've seen shipments of Blanton's, their Weller foolproof picks and stuff, and they'll drop it all at once. So I would definitely advise to get to know when they get their shipments in, when they do drops like that. If your store is someone who does that, they put all of their Blanton's up at once, know when they're going to do that, and show up when they're doing that. This stuff sells out really quick. If they do a release like that, we're talking minutes. So if you know they're gonna drop a full caseload of Blanton's at 8, there's going to be people there standing outside probably hours before that drop even happens. So, you know, it might be a little more extreme to go stand in line a few hours or an hour before the store does these drops, but that is a way for you to get something, okay? Also, if you are friends with, say, a manager or store owner and you know they get something in on Thursday, you know, show up on a Thursday morning when the truck arrives and say, hey man, did you get anything in? It just definitely helps you out. And again, this one might be a long-term goal. You're not gonna go in there and say, well, I'm about to go buy several bottles and then maybe they'll like me after that. No, you have to go in there, make it routine, make it frequent, say hello often. That way they start recognizing you, they start getting to know you a little bit, you get to know them a little bit. Eventually, it might work out in your favor. All right, moving on, the next thing, and we're gonna brief over this one because it's not something that I really do, but one of the easiest ways to get something allocated is to pay secondary prices. A lot of these stores will put up a bottle behind the counter, and it's quite easy to find these. These aren't really bourbon stores, they're bourbon museums, and these bottles sit behind the counter collecting dust because they're 10 times the price of retail. It can be quite tempting if you've been looking for this bottle, and bam, there it is. It's only $700. If money means nothing to you, then maybe that could be worth it to you. Maybe it's a very special bottle, and by all means do it. But to the average person who, $700 or $1,000, a lot of these prices have gotten ridiculous. It's not gonna be worth it, especially if you're planning on drinking them. They're not gonna taste that good. I hate to break it to you. I'm sure there are some special bottles that you might absolutely love and that might be the best thing you've ever had. But at the end of the day, it's a huge gamble. Spending that much money on a bottle that you at least haven't even tried, definitely try it before ever spending secondary prices, for sure. It is the easiest way to go about it, but if money matters to you, then probably don't do that option. That's my piece of advice to you. Definitely try something before ever spending that much money. All right, guys, and the last thing that I have for you. I say this dang near every video when it comes to tips and advice. Have fun with this. Like I said earlier, it's really, really easy to get discouraged. You're driving store to store. You're doing all of the things I've told you. You're making friends with every freaking clerk in that place. You know every store owner by name. It's very easy to get discouraged when they still don't hook you up. When you go to every single raffle, you get called 150th every single time. Don't let it ruin your fun. Hunting bourbon is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be that thrill of eventually getting something. Again, along the way, you're making friends with the store owners, you're meeting people at these raffles. You get to meet a lot of cool people, regardless if you win anything or not. And I think that's the true beauty in bourbon, is you can make so many friends, meet so many people who all have the same common interest as you. I mean, you can count all of your allocated bourbons and I'll count the number of friends I have, and we'll see who's richer in the end. Don't let it consume you. Don't let it discourage you. Don't let it distract you from all of the easily available on-the-shelf bourbons that we have. Definitely go out there, try and get something rare, enjoy it, have fun. When you do eventually win, crack that thing open, make the most of it, enjoy it. Drink every last drop of that sucker. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys implement some of these in your bourbon hunt. It's long and it's hard. Don't give up, keep at it, get out there. Go to store to store, go to the raffles, meet people, have fun. Good luck to all of you. You're gonna need a lot of luck when it comes to getting allocated bourbon. So I'm Trev Wilson. I will see you guys in the next video.